Bernie's whole approach was, you know, if we sell out the American workforce, if we sell out manufacturing in the cost and the chasing of cheap, low quality goods, ultimately we're chasing after this and our standard of living drops and his constituency ends up not being able to pay their bills and it increases like poverty, homelessness, everything across the board. And this is literally what's happened in the intervening years where all these towns have disappeared. I mean, every time, I mean, I was just in, you know, I was just traveling recently and I was in the middle of nowhere. And you could see like the skeletons of what a town was. And everybody has these stories now. And all you have left are like a McDonald's, you know, maybe like a kind of decrepit department store. And these are all real things. And then you have, you know, some mega box store that's like outside of this town that everyone has to drive through to get everything. And I think Bernie Sanders was uniquely positioned back in the day where he was tied into these things and very aware of the short-term benefit of like manufacturing cheap overseas to US corporations and their bottom line is not only an immediate disenfranchisement of like the workers here, but long-term it's catastrophic. And somehow he's like flip-flopped on that perspective. And I used to talk about Bernie Sanders as, I always think of this, and maybe Ben, you can think of this now that you have like a little one, but I think of this of the book, The Lorax, which is like the Lorax to me is like a book about bad salespersonship because the Lorax goes up to everyone, hey, maybe don't cut the tree down, maybe don't do this. And the whole environment is just falling apart. And he just keeps warning everyone. But he's like the worst at selling. He's just like, please don't do this. And like at the end of it, it's just nothingness, right? And I always thought Bernie Sanders was the Lorax where he was saying the right thing, but it was so ineffectual in terms of moving the needle. But now he's not even the Lorax. Now he's like as if the Lorax had been like, oh, this was actually a good thing. And now we have these cheap goods. So let's not replant the trees because that would cost money. And let's not make things here because to make things here, it's going to be more expensive to buy them. Like, it's just a complete insanity of like, that he's, I don't even understand it. And I don't know if it's just that he wants to be relevant within the party and this message coming from him has so much value that they're just incentivizing him that he keeps his seat or whatever this looks like. But it's like absolutely surreal to me that he's arguing that this is a bad thing.